Hey guys, we'll be back into this new video tutorial with OSP Pro. In this video today, we're going to be in Python programming still that we are in today. We would like now to use or to learn what known as classes and what known as object-oriented programming with the Python. If you know, my friend, you have never subscribed to my channel, please I request you that make sure at least you subscribe to my channel. Now this is one of the videos that maybe I will simply say my programming videos had not yet made a Python with objects, and I would like this time to be the chance for anyone who would like to learn Python programming. Now let me just start first by explaining for you some key terms that we are going to be finding out in our project. We're going to be finding out known as object oriented programming, what you guys, some of you may call one as OOP, and also we have one known as a class. So those are the two main terms. I'll simply even going to comment them down on my programs because they are the main two terms that we are going to be finding out, or that we are going to be using in our Python programming. Now Python is an object-oriented programming language, which means that it manipulates and works with data structures called objects. So objects can be anything that could be named in equal status in Python, or like what known as floats, strings, classes, or methods. So these objects have the variables in them, list, or what I can simply say, they can be used anywhere in our program. So we always use this kind of known as objects and class in our program to make our Python program to continue producing and repeating up without we messing up with anywhere within the program. So in Python you can define your own classes, and after defining them you can decide to inbuild your own classes within Python. So maybe let me just also tell you like another thing that we may talk now at the moment is also what known as the Python syntax. Now they have the class syntax. Now what's the class syntax and how does it behave, or how does it look like? Now in Python, the class syntax give assumption I'm creating up something for students. I give assumption I have a class and I'm going to just call it student. Whenever, one thing that you have to know when you're talking Python class syntax, the class you write the class name, but the syntax of it, this how to give. You will say maybe if it is students, you will say students, like that. But again, don't get it from me that this first letter of student should be capital letter, like that. Then another thing that I have to let you know, as after creating up the syntax, you can also use the syntax that helps you to create one as an object. Give assumption, you need to have the syntax of yours as class, as students. You can also just open up inside there, and don't forget to end up with one as a colon, full column, which shows that this class is created. Now inside the class you can also create what known as objects, or what known as an object. So these objects are the one which will be mattering with so much whenever we shall be making up or building up our main program. So after doing also, or after we known as known as, or having known what known as a class, and how to create a class, we have also seen how to create up objects. Now another thing that I have to let you know, whenever you create up an object, we also have to learn at the moment also how to deal with what known as the methods. Now in Python, to deal with the method, you have to first define a method you're using, and this what known as init, and that's it, init. Then you give up here what will be a method name, or the method name in the program. Now follow me very well. We said a class, create a class, you give the class name as maybe students, and I've also said it's a good method. Please make sure whenever you're creating up a class, come down also here, give the class like you say you happen to create. Inside the class we create what known as objects. Now after creating up a class, we shall also be in a position to create also what known as the method. This one enables us to initialize our objects which happen to create inside the class. So these objects inside here, we shall also be having one as self to enable us and maintain whatever we happen to create inside the class. So this function enables the object to it takes at least the argument like self, the one I've given you in a Python conversion, which gives identity to the objects being created. So just like I've said up there, that's how the simple stuff I may simply give you. Now inside the self give assumption, you're creating up what known as a data, maybe a program, simple program which we are going to create shortly after here. Give assumption, we already have a student class, so I'm just going to comment up this one here off. We have this on your class students objects. Now this objects we are going to see how we are going to play around with. Yes, fine, we are going to leave that object there. Now here we already have the object which is going to initialize for us this one here, the self. So give assumption, since this is a student, I'm going to say maybe names, course, and maybe semester. Maybe that's what we have. Let me just save this program. I'm just going to save it as maybe example 3, like that. So in a simple term, this is the class name with having objects, and on objects it has helped us to initialize the stuff you are seeing. So you have self, names to be the student name, course, and the semester the student is in. So that implies the initialization of a class is done. So in the instance when you add more arguments to the define, or one known as when you're initializing your Python beside the self, you will need to add one as the instance variable to that, so that n instance objects or n instance or object of the class will be associated with the instance you create. I give assumption to you at the moment. We already have what known as the self, names, course, and student, and semester. Now those ones, they become the instance objects that we happen to create within the program. I give assumption if now we would like them to be taken part into our program, and so that we may come up with a simple Python program, special object-oriented programming with the Python. We should need now to try to come down and try to pick these classes and talk with them. I may simply say maybe self dot what as the name to stand for the name of the student, and it will be equal to the name maybe we happen to give, or if it is in a database. That's done. And I will also talk about the self dot what as the course. So this is names, not names, because that's how I happen to define it there. And also here we have what known as the course a student is doing, which course is also going to be a course here at the end of the day. So if it was equal to the database, then we should be framing it to the particular database we are trying to give to. I give assumption we also have another thing called self dot semester, which is also going to be equal to what on a semester, like that. Now if you try to cross check, so far our class is already being defined, and I've already now tried to maybe talk to them, to the class. But if you try to cross check now, find at the moment we don't have any data within other program. So if you happen to save this information and try to compile, yes, we have defined, but they are not correct. So at the end of the day, we shall be getting up what known as the mistakes within the program. Just try to rectify that. I think you can see that we have nothing. The program is running very well, but we have nothing in the program, which so far shows success, but we have nothing in our object-oriented programming with Python. Now my friends, having known all that, what so far I happen to say, we have also to be in a position to have some arguments or some data within there of our program, so that these stuffs happen to work well. So the next of the stuffs that guys we have not to do at the moment is to try to put our arguments. We already said is self dot what on us names, which implies is an object dot the names is equal to the names, and then blah blah. So that implies we already have names. So what I'm going to use at the moment, we are going to be using something that we're going to say to enable us pick what we would like to have for our program. Give assumption may define another variable here called maybe student, fine, but I can simply say maybe maybe just use something simple. Let me just say student to stand for student, and I'll simply say maybe just use something simple. Just think of something. Or can we just simply say maybe I'm going to be having that data, but I'm going to be basing on what known as the student names or customer. I'm just showing this one from student to customer so that I can see how I can figure it out. Customer, that's customers or customers. So if I happen to come back here, I can simply say maybe the customer name, the very name I happen to use their app. So I will simply come down and say maybe those people who are working there will have the staff, and this staff will be equal to what known as the customers, and then it will be giving the customer the first name. If the customer's first name is OSP, or the customer's name is OSP, we oh sorry, this is not customer, my friend, this is students. Just that students, think of that very well, think of it twice so that I see how I can play around with it. I'm just going to say student 1, and it's having the following stuff. We're just going to put their students like that, and then I'm just going to give the name, maybe he's called Oguti David. That's the name of that student. And then we have what next is the course it's doing, maybe it is computer science, something like that. And if you try to cross check, we also have another thing that's doing the semester, maybe it's in a year 2, maybe sem 1. That's done. We go to the next student. So I'm just going to copy these stuffs so that I happen to paste those stuffs there down, the number of times you want them to be in your program. So I'm just going to add many, just going to be changing them from student 1 to student 2, because they make the rest of the stuffs are going to remain the same. Because if I happen to put that there, I'll be just picking up data basing on what I'm giving. So remember, this is students, and that's the information there, and that's the information objects. So I'm just going to change this name into what known as Nema, maybe Nema Charles, and maybe it's doing what known as information technology. Maybe the same stuff there. I'm just going to change this one to Pro. I'm just going to maybe change this one to OSP Pro. I'm just going to change this one to my brother Lowell, maybe Michael, something like that. And then this one is maybe going to be computer engineering. Maybe the semester is year 1, sem 1, and maybe this person is computer science, fine. Maybe just change this one to Okelo, something like that. This is going to be maybe if just change that one a little bit so that we can get something we want really. Maybe software engineering, year 1 semester, year 2 sem 1. So if you happen to save this data, now you'll discover that whatever we happen to give here, whatever I happen to give here is corresponding with what happened to give up. Like now this is self, the self is already maintained here when I happen to give this. That implies the self will move in from names to course and semester. And when after reaching there, what I'll pick this side around names, course, blah and semester is what is going to be enabling me to stand this side around, and then I'll get what I need. So far if you try to cross check, I'm only left with it now to print down for us what we need to do, which I'm just going to simply say print for me down what known as we have the staff one, or the staff, which is called what known as the student one, but it's going to be dot the name of that student, you get. And I would also like, maybe still under the student one, I would like you also to print for me the course the student is doing, you get. And also still under student one, I would like you also maybe to print for me the semester the student is in. Members, that's what I have in my data basing on the information we happen to give. So I'm just going to copy that one, stuffs. They are kinda 5. So if you try to cross check, this is going to be 2. That's 2, 2. Wow, made a mistake there. This is 5. This is 4. And then this is 3. That's 3. So the same applies here. This is 4. And this is 5. Let me just try to speed it up. That's 2. That's 3. That's 4. And lastly 5. So these are just the pieces of code we happen to do. So let me remove this stuff if possible. Okay, let me just leave them. So this is it. So if I happen to save this program over once again and then try to compile if there's an error, I think you can see it is telling me there's some error somewhere. So let us try to rectify that error. Global name course is not defined. Self.course is equal to course. So course is not defined somewhere. I think you can see we have something else, and here we have another global variable which is not defined. So let us just try to paste that there. At the same time as you cross check around our stuffs, I think the thing is fine. So if you happen to cross check here, try to refresh again. I think you can see students object has not attribute name. So you just try to cross check that too. Print one student name student.course student underscore semester attribute students object has no attribute name. So I'm just cross check that it is student 1. We cross check, we have student, we have names. So I may just take that to be the student name. Just pick this off, take one, and I cross check in my program whether I have any error. First cross check with that, take that first, and then try to cross check where is the error within my program, and then I rectify it. So let me touch cross check that student name student course. Wow, cross check that again. I'll try to refresh that. Attribute error students, we have here what not students, fine. Object has no attribute. Let me cross check that, then I come back to you guys. I think I've seen the problem. I think you can see as a student name, it's not name, it is names. That's what we happen to define there in our program. So I'm just trying to fill that gap around student names. So if you happen to cross check here again, I try to run it. I think now you can see that the data is now taken and picked from our in database, or from the table we happen to give in the data. This is the first student, the course is doing, and the year is in, and something like that. So if you try to run it again, I think this is it. I think you can see what I'm talking about. So members, within 20 minutes I will simply say you have happened now to learn what known as object-oriented programming in Python. So this is simply how you can always deal up with your object-oriented programming in Python, and how to always print out our statement. Please members, if you know this video has really helped you, please make sure don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I love you all too. So guys, just make sure you subscribe to my channel for other more videos. And please, I thank all of you guys who happen to subscribe to my channel. So far we are now knocking to 165 subscribers. So guys, thank you very much for subscribing. And you guys also who are liking my videos, thank you very much. Those who are sharing it, thank you very much. May God bless you. Thank you all.